Today I welcome Philipp on the show, so thanks for accepting my invitation.
Thanks. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Really looking forward.
Yes, I think we're going to enjoy this podcast. So, Philipp, if you had 3 minutes to present yourself as an indie maker, how you will do that? I'm taking notes.
Okay, let me try to do that. I'm from Switzerland. Maybe you hear it from my voice. I don't have the perfect English accent. I'm a father of two teenager kids. I'm married, and I'm above the average age of indie hackers with 46 years old. That's maybe a bit standing out. I've studied computer science. That's how I started my career with programming, and then moved professionally into product management. That's what I am now, and I'm full-time employed. So I'm a site builder. I'm not like an indie hacker for full-time. So I have my normal product manager job, and started two startups since. The first one is shared flat search in Switzerland. That's something I wanted to do within my employer, and they didn't give me the room, so they allowed me to do it on
On
the
the
weekend.
weekend.
And of course, it was B2C. It's of course easier for me to start, and I knew the material a bit, so I tried this, and then figured out there is no money in this. So it was a success, but I couldn't make any money. And then while building this, I found out about backlinks, about SEOs and backlinks, and found out that I know something other people can benefit from, and created a product for that, which I launched in January, which is called SEO Kickstarter. That's 2 or 3 minutes. Not sure if I did it in time.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good. We have like good stuff. I am curious a bit like about your past. Like, when did you started the first time to do like indie hackers, indie makers things? It was like not so long ago, or before you tried as well.
I think it was 2 years ago. I started my shared flat platform, and
Mm-hmm.
I did it just on my own. And then I looked into community, and then I found out about Twitter and about the great community, and then I was hooked ever since.
Okay. And so that's an interesting part because like I've seen many indie makers who you say they are younger than you because they totally kind of refuse to go to a normal job and just try to indie hacker or just like take a job or to feed themselves until they manage to do the indie maker project working for themselves. But you didn't do that. So what make you do this move like now and not like finish 9 to 5 life because that's what you have done mostly right now.
It's a good question. Maybe I need to answer it for myself. I just
Take your time. Take your time.
yeah. No, I think it's I got somehow hooked. I read some books. What was the book called?
From who?
The famous book about startups. The
Tim
Lean
Ferriss?
Startup.
Ah, Lean
No,
Startup, yes.
the Lean Startup, I think.
Okay.
Where I got hooked, and then no, then I listened to. Do you know the podcast How I Built This? This got me going.
Mm, okay. No, I don't know that one.
This
Sure
is
check.
it covers like the famous startups,
Okay.
Airbnb and all these.
Oh, yeah.
How they built, yeah, the really famous ones. How they built this, and only of course the successful. And then I listened to a few of those and thought, oh, okay, these are normal people. I can try this as well. And then I first tried it with my employer, right? Because that's kind of would have been
Yeah.
the easier part. And then I saw, no, there's no way. And it was good that there was no way. I think startups need to be separate. You cannot. I mean, you can see like Google tries to do startups, it just always fail. The bigger corporates they don't know how to do startups. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
difficult
I
for them
then
to understand how
yeah,
to do
and
that.
I think it needs to be separate. It cannot be part of the corporate at all. Yeah, and then that's how I
And
started.
Unless they decided to kind of put money on it and do it on your own, that's the only model I've seen working. It's like, okay, we have like this envelope for employee who wants to do startups. They can do it like 2 days a week. And that's the only things I've seen the most efficient, because the company give you like 6 months, a year with this money, you do whatever you want. And if at the end it's good, it's good. Otherwise it's bad, but they try to invest on you, you know. And if it's good, they win a project that can help them. But otherwise, like doing in the company is like very, very hard, I think.
Yeah, there are these innovation labs and all these. It's just,
Yeah.
and I've never seen it to work. So it was good to have a straight no from the company. So I needed to do it on the weekend.
Yeah.
And which is now the biggest challenge, right? I mean, just have the morning, evening, and the weekend to do site building.
Yeah, but when do you have time to do that when you have kids? Like, how do you do that?
So the kids are teenagers. That's
Okay.
probably also for me, timing wise, back to your question, why only now? I think with kids, I couldn't do before. When they are small, they also want to do something with me. And then if they ask like, Daddy, can we go somewhere? And you say, no, I don't have time. I'm doing my side project. It just doesn't work. No. And now
then wife come is like,
and the wife as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
But now usually it's the other way around. I say like, there's good weather on the weekend. Should we do something together? And the kids say, no, I have friends. Why would I do something with you? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So suddenly there was this kind of time on the weekend. And the first few months of this, I just did things which triggered me for my 9 to 5 job, which like I didn't have time during the week, and I thought I tinker around, and even for some Christmas holidays, I just like created something for the company, and then I thought, but this is stupid. Yeah. This is so. I mean, our company has investors. So it's not even like my boss profits from that. I mean, at least the boss could profit, but it's just like investors who don't know me anyway. Why would I give my weekend for them? So it's stupid. So let me try to find another thing which I just for me.
Way better. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So the first project you started was the Share Flat project, and by Share Flat you mean like people who wants to do like living together for a few months, right? Like
I mean, there's basically, as a student, you cannot afford your own apartment, so you go together, and then you have like a three-room apartment, and then everyone is one room, and you have a shared kitchen.
Okay,
just to have less spendings.
But definitely a difficult business model. If the main purpose of the person is to spend less, you cannot ask them to pay more.
I didn't. The thing is, I didn't think much when I started this. I was just seeing in Switzerland there is the biggest shared flat site is Saks. It's just like, I mean, and in my opinion of Saks, right? It just looked bad. There were not good search options. I just look it from a design point of view and like a usability point of view. It just sucked this way. And I thought I can do better than them. And I didn't think much about like how much money I will make. I just wanted to do it, and I knew how to do it. And then I wrote crawlers. Basically, I mean, for marketplace, you need to for two-sided marketplace. It's always hard. If you start with a web page and say there's 0 listings, nobody will use it, right?
They're like, what?
So, yeah, exactly. So I wrote crawlers for all the different marketplaces in Switzerland, and then I had the biggest one, and then I could say, look, this is the biggest. You should use mine.
And that's great.
It was great, yeah.
Like most of people are like, yeah, I want to make my idea and make money with it with the first try. And most of people are like, yeah, I just need the good idea, And the problem is like, no, you don't need a fucking good idea. Like a good idea is like useless. What you need is to be good at doing it and find a real problem. Yeah. And so most of people like forgot how bad they are to build a business, Like they like, oh, it's easy. I just do it. No, the main difficulty is be the right person to build a business. So don't fear doing like something you find this is useful, but there are no business model or whatever. Because as you have done, like you have discovered the business of backlink by doing this first business.
Yeah.
And that is perfect when you find things that you are very good at and you understand the market, and there are market for it.
I totally agree. And on Twitter, there are people who say, don't do a B2C, only do B2P. And I disagree. I think I would say the first startup of everyone is a B2C, because it's just a thing you can think of.
Yeah.
I'm working in a real estate company, so I was thinking about like real estate all the time. So I knew the area of shared flats and how this works, and this was very close to me. And then you get rolling, and I learned so much. I did not just learn about backlinks. I learned about design, about hosting.
Oh,
It's
many topic, I believe.
basically. I mean, the thing was, and then I also built mobile apps. I did things just to learn. For me, it was just secondary if it was successful or not. I just wanted to learn. Can I create something which is then also used? Can I drive traffic to it? Can I deploy something on the App Store? How hard is it? Will they not allow me? Will they allow me?
You build like native apps, like for Android and iOS?
With Flutter, yes.
Wow.
I did a Flutter course. This was in hindsight was not a good investment, because I could never use it again, and it's quite a different thing than doing web. But still, I just wanted to do it and just see how it feels, and probably will not do it again because I don't really like it. But still, I had an app out, and I think it's still downloadable on both app stores, Android and
That's
iOS.
great.
So, yeah.
But that I think that's the point. Sometimes, like you connect the dot always later. You connect the dot afterwards. So right now, maybe you still don't connect the dot of doing mobile, and it look like useless, but you don't know in how many years you will be. For me, I started by doing mobile apps in my life as a employee, as a freelancer. I did mobile apps, and then I totally stopped for years, like for a few years. And now what I am doing, I'm selling things for mobile apps. And I was like, came back to the source, after so long. And I was the same as you. I was like, this is shit. I don't want to do mobile apps because it's so hard. And then later on, I realized, oh, but I know something which is very hard and not many people knows. So this is viable.
You do native apps, or you do React Native, or?
No, I do capacitor apps. So they are JavaScript, HTML, CSS apps with native capabilities. And what I'm selling with CapGo, my main business, is a plugin you put in this kind of apps to do live update faster. So you don't need to push to Apple and Google, hey, I made a new update. You directly push to your users, and it's allowed by the rules of Apple and Google. So I'm selling that to many apps, and I'm selling also service around, plugins around. Like I have a whole ecosystem around Capacitor, the biggest or the second biggest, depending the time in the world, and so like that's what I'm provide, and that was my first job, first company, first startup. I did a mobile app, not in Capacitor because it didn't exist at the time. It was like Intel something at the time, or PhoneGap. Something Intel, whatever, forgot the name, but it was the same kind of technology. We evolve over time, and which is where it is right now.
And then you experienced the pain of updates, of pushing out updates, and then you thought of, let's make this better to not go through the App Store every time.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, everyone who do mobile app experience this pain, and when it's the most strong is you push an update, you think the update is great. And then all your users start to go to support and annoy everyone because your app is broken for them. And then everyone scream at you and you're like, yeah, I want to push an update, but Apple is like not responding. So we're waiting, and you wait for 5 days or 10 days until Apple tell you, the button here, the color is not respecting accessibility. You're like, I didn't touch this fucking button for like a month. Leave me alone. Leave me fix my bug.
Exactly, so and all the people are waiting until the bug is fixed.
And we're like, sorry, just Apple is fucking with us.
Yeah, exactly. I heard this so many times.
Yeah.
And then
So that was,
you're caught in this update loop, stuck. And then you maybe if you're lucky, some people at Apple you can call and to expedite it. But if you're not lucky, you just
yeah,
wait.
if your app is big, yes, otherwise they don't get you on the phone. But
Yeah.
yeah, I got this, and one in my first job, we got a very, very huge problem like that. Not because of a color of a button, but because Apple watched the logs of the app and found out we were like kind of saving files, log files in the app. So if you keep the app for an hour or two, it was like some log files saved and using memory of the phone. And they
Okay.
tell me, why are you doing that? And I had no fucking clue because I was doing like not native, I was doing like a hybrid app. So plugging whatever was doing that, and I had no clue.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. And no one knew in the team. And it took us like a month to finally find out. And one plugin was broken and having problems and making logs because the guy decided to, it's better to debug with logs, write on a file. And so, yeah, it took us eternity. And since then, I was frustrated and I didn't wanted to go mobile again. So when I left the company, I stopped doing mobile and I was like, not anymore, ever. And one time later on, I created a mobile app for myself because like I had a friend, we were like doing a bit of CrossFit and he was like, there are no good timer for CrossFit. And we were thinking to do a startup studio to help people like start themselves. So it was like, let's do a tiny demo app, CrossFit timer, like super simple. Like we do it in a week. And we just like have that to show to people when we want to sell our services to start a startup. And we did this app and it started to have many users. Like, I don't know. Now he has like 400 paid users, I think. But before, when it was free, it was like 2,000 or 3,000 users per month. And so that's how we started to have app again. And I started to have this problem again. And I wanted to fix that. Couldn't find a solution. The only solution was paid and super expensive by Ionic. Like they do like service for big corporates. So the minimum price is like 2,000 a month, something like that. Now it's lower, but at the time it was something like that. And I was super frustrated, find a GitHub issue where people were complaining about it. Basically, I complain as well. And the CEO of the company at the time, he said, yeah, sorry, we are not really interested into helping SMB because like right now, the way our company is built is around service for big corporates. So we cannot serve like tiny people. We're going to lose money. And I was like, okay, can I do it? And the guy was like, yeah, of course. Like, please help us because I don't want to have people complain every day. And so I created the company because the CEO of the only business who was doing it told me, yes, you can do it. Yes.
He asked for a competitor.
Yes.
But that's crazy. This is
and
crazy.
Then the company kind of hates me at one point, and
of course, now the guy got successful, but it was their mistake.
I was like, I have asked for a price, guys.
Yeah.
And first, I said, like, let us pay like 50 a month and we're good, and 50 a month was huge for app was making €0. Yeah. But I was like, at least something. And now I am making people pay €50 a month.
But it's perfect. You found the market gap. There was a high priced offer, and you saw that there's for the lower price there's a gap, and then jumped in because you were a user. I mean, you were just scratching your own itch, right?
Oh yes, it was a big itch. And when I managed to do that, I was like super happy. Not because I didn't even think I was doing a business at the beginning. I just did an open source plugin, and I released it on the GitHub issue. I say, I made that and blah blah blah, and people were like super amazed. And some of them say, okay, but I don't understand. Like, why do we have to host ourselves the update? Why we do have to do everything on our own? Yeah. Can we pay somewhere and then you do it for us? I was like, okay, give me a bit of time. I managed to do the impossible and learn Swift and Android and managed to do something work. So now I will do the SaaS part, which is easier. But yeah, that's how CapGo born, and now it's a business. It came from a pain and from something unrelated, and the first app was B2C as well. We didn't work much. I'm still making like 700 a month.
Yeah, it's very similar journey actually.
Yeah, it's supernatural. Like sometimes I have tried to invent so many ideas and startups and things.
No.
And I've lost so much time and hours, but I've learned a lot for sure, as you were saying. But I've lost my time because I was hoping for something instead of like doing it in a natural way. You know, there are many problems in this world where people complain about, and you can help them. Just like explore community, explore things, try things out, be curious, and you will find them for sure. Like so many of them. Like if you just look at YouTuber people, like if you watch YouTube video, you see people complaining about something at one point,
Yeah,
something not
yeah,
working.
yeah.
It's just there.
It's
It's
not
everywhere.
hard. It's not hard.
Yeah,
You just need to listen. And
yeah.
no, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a bit about me and my story. Now we can go back about you.
I like
I would
this.
like,
Yeah,
I would like to know. I think it's the first time I really tell the story like fully, and I wanted to record it in a video like this week
this is
because I
perfect.
made an article, a blog article on Capgo. You can watch the on capgo.app. It's like the name of the article is From GitHub Issue to Business. I think I will do a video also about it because there are so many details about it. Like the story, like
It's an amazing story. It's.
yeah, it's
I think I
so,
would. Yeah, I would be interested to dig into some bits as well now. Yeah.
yeah, and there are many details I skipped
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the
I know.
journey.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Sure, sure.
So coming back to you, so the first project didn't work out, but you told me you learned something in it. Like, can you explain like how did you understood the problem of the backlinks and how did like got created?
So, I released this chat flat app. I think August 1st. That's when I opened my Twitter account, and then I installed some web tracking, and there was just zero traffic on it. Really,
Yeah.
really just really just zero traffic. I thought, yeah, maybe I just go to some Reddit forums and post something, and then I thought, no, but it doesn't work. How can I attract really traffic? And then I looked into SEO, of course. I mean, I didn't want to spend market ad money on it. So that for me it was clear that the ads was not there, and then there's also no like for Twitter is also the wrong audience. Social media doesn't really work. So for me, it was clear that SEO needs to be. And then I just read on Ahrefs. They have a good beginner's guide for SEO, which I can recommend to everyone. It's quite short, but it's a very good overview. And then they
I agree.
recommend some basic things like you need to do H1 tags on every site and like basically in-page SEO stuff. Correct. So which I corrected. So I corrected. They have this free checker for your website, and then it just says you have these 10 errors and these 5 warnings, and I just solved all of them. That already took me like three weeks or so. It was not so easy. Yeah.
Some of them are hard sometimes to
Some
fix.
of them are really, really hard. Like, all of your pages need to be reachable by a crawler. It's a search site. I have thousands of listings, and how? Okay, you need to create a browse access for that. Okay, well, that's quite something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I still don't manage to do it properly. You know, I never done like a website with so much user generated content. So I have just my blog and stuff. So I basically have a big like a sitemap and like a big footer with the maximum stuff link possible there.
Exactly.
And I still don't understand some page. You know, they need 2 clicks to be joined, and like a crawler is like, nope, bye. It's like okay.
Yeah, exactly. And the Ahrefs then complained and said,
Yeah.
I
You're
thought,
doing
come on,
bad.
I
And
have a
I know.
sitemap. I put all my URLs in the sitemap. That must be it. No. And then I consulted also an SEO expert, and he said, look, you just need to do that. It's just you cannot just provide the sitemap. You need to do also the browse access. But this thing was easy and probably not so interesting. Then what they talked about as well are backlinks, and then they said, look, one way to build backlinks is just to do cold email outreach. And I thought, that's interesting. I never did that, and that was way out of my comfort zone. I'm more like an introvert person. I don't really like emailing people. And then I thought, but just that needs doing, right? I mean, that's the only way I can grow this site. So I researched Yeah.
Yeah. How did you search for that? Like, I'm very interested because something I don't do. So like, do like a crash course. How do you find the people to ask for backlink for?
Yes. So, and that's also in Ahrefs basic course. So all the things I learned, it's just out there in the internet. I
Okay.
sometimes think about like myself. I'm I'm a frauder or so. Because
Ah,
I
fraud. Yeah, yeah.
all the information is out there. So I did not invent all of these things, but that doesn't matter, I guess. Anyway, you can. I just went to my main competitor
Hmm.
and looked where they have the backlinks from, and they are here since like 20 years. So they that's why they are the biggest, because they were early in the game,
The first.
maybe even
Yeah.
25. And their website still looks like a 90s website. You can
The
tell.
same website since 20
It's,
years.
yeah, they are the biggest, and why should they change? They are the biggest, right?
Yeah.
So I looked where they have their backlinks from, and then I used SEMrush for that. And then SEMrush gives some scoring, which is the strongest backlink and the weakest. And then
Okay.
I looked at the top 100 backlinks, and then I sorted by the weakest first, because I knew my first message will be bad. I never did
Yeah.
that. I mean, how should I write this? I will be failing, and once I come to the better ones, my messaging has improved.
Yeah.
And then I just I looked up the website. Okay, what website is it? Where is the link? And then I went there, searched for an email address. That was usually the hardest part. It was to search for the email address, understood what kind of website they are, and then crafted an email message. And then my pitch was, look, usually it was universities. Like, I have the biggest shared flat website in Switzerland. These are bigger than the one you linked. So
Hmm.
maybe it's for your students, it's actually beneficial if you can link to a website which is even bigger than the ones you linked. And it was a free offer, so people were usually, I think the success rate was 20%. So 20% of all the emails I sent out, I really got a backlink, which is insane. For like,
Yeah.
if you have a B2B product, the 20% is not reachable at all. I think the good conversions are like, if you have like 5%, it's already above average. So 20% is insanely good, but it's part of it was certainly that it was a free offer, and I think part of it I also did some things right. I think I had a good tone of voice. I didn't use AI. I think there was not too much AI back then anyway.
Yeah.
So I
Think
hand
so.
grabbed everywhere. And then there were even some small thing. It's Swiss. There is sometimes bureaucracy, and I didn't hear back from them for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they said, look, we actually had a meeting where this was on our agenda. If we should give you a backlink or not, and then they discussed it in the big meeting. Should we give the guy a backlink? And he said, okay, it's a good thing. Let's give the guy a backlink, which was I thought, like, this is a bit
But
insane. Do you
yeah.
spend meetings for this? I'm not sure.
Yeah. But do you offer something in exchange? Like you do
No,
also
nothing.
backlink?
No,
What the
nothing.
fuck?
So I was just curious. It works out, and it's with marketing, it's usually hard because you don't know if all you invest is just waste. I invested hours for crafting. I like every site is like half an hour to an hour to craft this email. It's a lot of work, and it could be, in the worst case, I spent days without any outcome.
I can imagine.
But the outcome was so good that over the course of half a year, my site climbed to the first page of Google, and I'm now on rank 2, just behind my main competitor. It's my site, so it worked very well.
Okay. And how many backlinks do you have right now? Do you know like numbers or something?
I don't know. I think I gained not. It was not so many. I gained like between 20 and 40 backlinks from, but I think it's also from the niche. So I think the
Yeah.
niche backlinks count more than the general backlinks.
Okay.
I think that Google understood, like, aha, it's kind of in this university area. Also I had some backlinks from other real estate sites. So it was kind of, it's thematically close to my offer.
Okay. Oh,
And
that's good to know. I will definitely try that more because like for me, I don't know, when everyone talk about backlink, I'm like thinking I need 2000 backlinks to have some impact. It's like 40. I can at least work for that.
no, I don't think it needs too many. I mean, some of the backlinks you get automatically by like spam site, like not spam sites, but there's like some domain sites which just
Yeah.
rank the 10 latest domains, and then you get these kind of
Yeah.
crap backlinks. But the good ones, I don't think you need too many to rank. And then I thought that everyone is doing that. Everyone is doing cold email outreach because I read it on Ahrefs beginner's guide, so I thought that's kind of a
Yeah.
normal thing. And then I met other indie makers in Zurich, where I live, and I met them for lunch, and then we talked about what are you doing, what are you doing. I'm doing backlinks, and I got backlinks, and I was, oh wow, how do you do that? Like
Yeah,
the
you are
same
like
reaction as you did, like
magic.
what you like the reaction you just had. Like I never did that. Is it hard? And then I thought,
Yeah.
okay, but it's interesting. I think I discovered something which is kind of not out of the ordinary, and let me see if maybe this would be interesting to other builders as well.
Okay. So what's doing your project now on backlink?
So I did 2 attempts. The first attempt was I was just this manual thing I did, and then I needed half an hour to an hour for every outreach. I wanted to automate first for myself because I was still working on this on the Shed Flat website, and then I was just using Retool, Retool, the no-code tool.
Yeah.
I was using this, and then I shared some screenshots on Twitter, and then people were saying, "I want to use the same. I also want to have this kind of automated outreach." So that was the first I published, and I got some people using that. But then I found out that even this was too hard for people because you need to have a good messaging. Why should people give you a backlink? What do you offer? Do you give backlink exchange, or do you pay for it, or so? So I saw that people were failing with this outreach tool. So the next thing I thought of is I just want to give them a guide, just a document where they just can work through for backlinks which are easy achievable, like the product hunt backlink. You just launch on product hunt, you get a backlink, and that's very easy. And that's the
Okay.
product which is out now. Yeah.
That's very cool. I think 2 weeks ago I was thinking about backlinks and I was like, why there are no project like, for example, a script you add to your website in the footer somewhere, and it create like auto backlink on for other people having also the script. It's kind of a community of backlink, and you can say, okay, I am in this kind of field, so I want backlink in this kind of website, and they do the same, and it's auto feed the backlink, and you don't check about it. I was
And then
like,
you just have like the footer full of backlinks with other indie hackers, and then
yes.
you kind of share it like this.
And then you just need one crawler as the SaaS to check if the backlink are really visible and present. Otherwise, you remove them from other websites because for not abuse. But it could be like something, but I don't know anything about backlinks, so free idea if you want.
Exactly. There are these groups where they exchange backlinks, and then usually you want to have kind of a similar strength backlink, because if your site, you have like these domain ranks, domain ratings, and if your site is strong and the other is weak, then maybe it's not a fair exchange. So you want to have kind of someone on a similar level.
Yeah, that's exactly why I got the idea, because I got a proposal from TopTal, I think, to join a group like that of backlink of 300 websites. And I was like, yeah, okay, but I'm not sure, like how it will be working, what I have to do for that. And I was like, I would have preferred a tool who do it for me, tell me it's sure you have good backlinks and the people in your website are also good, and he auto-manage to remove them, add them if required.
Yeah. I mean, there are some details to it, like links in footer are usually less, give less SEO juice than a real article.
Ah,
So
okay.
ideally you would have, and that's usually when you do this kind of link exchange, you say, I write an article for you, you write one for me, or vice versa or so. And then the article would be exactly about your startup or your product or so. And
Ah,
then
okay.
the link is prominent in the article. The ideal is that it's only like the most prominent link on the page, and then there are not too many other links on the same page. So it's really just about your product, and that's usually working better. That's so if usually link exchange are more working like this and not in the footer.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's why I'm not doing a project on that because I know nothing on this. So yeah, thanks for that. So currently you selling kind of the how to do backlinks, basically, right?
It's a Notion page.
Yeah, and you selling that?
You buy, and then what you get is a link to a Notion page.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the price?
It's 87.
Okay, we're gonna put that in the description for the fucker like me who doesn't know how to do backlinks.
Exactly.
Okay, that's amazing. And do you have like numbers, things you want to share about that? Like, okay, do you think you can live from this, or you will need something else?
No, I cannot live from this. No, it's actually a good side income,
Yeah.
and it was not meant to be a big thing. Because I already had
Like
this.
Mark Lou and the boilerplate.
Yeah, exactly. I had my software, and I still have like this retool app where you can do the niche cold email outreach.
Okay.
I had running, and I wanted just to have kind of a thing which is easier for people to start. So I created this Notion, and I first thought maybe I give it to my subscribers for free, and I thought no, actually it could be a good entry product.
Yeah.
Let's make it separate from the main product and launch it. And then I thought,
Good mindset.
yeah, and I thought, who would buy this? Because there are thousands of these lists flying around. You saw that probably as well, like the best backlinks, and then you have like a spreadsheet with 2,000 rows, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and no information. And I thought, here I come, and I want to have money for such a document. Who would buy this? And people were before I launched this, they would say that nobody will buy it. Give it for free, maybe as like a goodie for your main product, because it will not sell. And then with this mindset, I still tried my best. I created a launch video, and I launched on Twitter on Monday morning.
Yeah.
I left the house, and I told my wife, today I launched this product, but nobody will buy anyway. And then
Come back millionaire.
not a millionaire, but I made like 3,500 within 24 hours. It was quite a big launch. Yeah.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. I love this kind of thing when you like don't expect this kind I never did launch kind of you did. I mean, long time ago I was doing that with startups where you don't make people pay and blah blah blah, because you have investors. And then I stopped doing launch. And lately when I was working with Mark, like last year, we start doing that again, and seeing this kind of spike of Stripe is so cool, we were like, I think making 2,000 or 3,000 the first day. You're like, wow. So
yeah, it's quite a rush. Yeah, you then get addicted and you want the same again and again.
Yeah. It's like, can we do better tomorrow? And then no, because the launch is always the launch. But it's very cool effect, and that's mean, I think this is kind of a realization. You're not so dumb, in a way. That's what I felt, because like for many times I launched shit, like no one's care, or some people watch it, you get like 10,000 views, but no one buy. And
exactly,
when you put it out there with a price since the beginning and people buy it, and you're like, fuck, I understood something finally.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So it's very, very cool. So do
but you could never know. You cannot know before you launch. And I gave it for free to my subscribers. I wrote them an email. Look, there's this Notion page, and I spent a lot of time, and they would not care. I would say they would not even click on the link because they were not interested. And then if you launch it and you put it behind a prize and say, look, this is the best thing since ever, and then people are like, wow, this is worth something and I will buy it.
Yeah,
It's
price
amazing.
psychology is a thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
like some people are like, oh yeah, this is this thing which is perfect for you. Blah blah blah. What's the price? 0? Oh no, it's bad.
No, 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 no.
Same one, 10,000. Oh, amazing. Where do I
Yeah,
put my
exactly.
card? It's like okay,
Uh-huh.
interesting. I think this is things that took me eternity to understand, like pricing and price psychology is not making sense of the quality of what you're doing. You know, as a software developer, especially, you tend to, okay, if I want to sell expensive, it has to be complex, well made,
Yeah, yeah,
well
yeah.
coded, blah, blah, blah. People don't care. If the packaging look good, it's enough. And the price look to match the expectation they have in their mind works. Not related to anything real, the
Yeah.
real impact they will have. It's like I see that a lot for online courses, you know. This is all about what people think the benefit they will get, but they will not even get it. You know, they buy courses without doing them, but just because thinking they bought it, it's enough for them. And this is so dumb. Like so many businesses like that who, you know, if you build online courses and if you expect people to do your courses, mostly you're going to be very sad because most of them will never do it. Like 90% of them. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
insane. But you have to agree with this. It's the same business as the travel box, you know, like a smart box. Smart box is you offer like a tour in boat in the Switzerland lake, and you offer that to someone, or you pay even that for yourself. And no one would do that. And the business model of the company is made on that because
Oh,
they don't make
really?
money. Yeah, if everyone do
If
the
everyone
thing,
does
they
it,
will
they okay.
they're bankrupt.
They will
That's why it's
bankrupt.
so cheap. It's because no one do it. It's crazy thinking
I
about
had
that.
no
Like,
idea. Yeah.
yeah, no, there are many businesses like that where the main business. Same with gyms. You know, a gym can host like 200 people a day maximum or whatever, a certain amount of people. And if they were respecting this, they will not allow more than 200 subscriber or I don't know, 2 times more than that because not everyone can come the same day. And in fact, every gym have like 10 times or 20 times or 100 times more subscriber that they can host because the business model is having people paying to feel they pay for the gym, not to go to the gym.
It makes them think
Yeah,
good about themselves. They already have a better body because they just bought the gym
yeah,
subscription.
because they pay 30 a month. And this is crazy. There's so many businesses like that. And at the beginning, I was like very mad about that. I was like, oh, this is kind of scamming people. But no,
Yeah.
people pay themselves like they want that. That's help them just thinking they pay about that, not even doing the things they pay for or having it. And it took me eternity to understand this is okay. This
This
is
is
okay
okay.
to.
That's true. I wonder how many people bought like Shipfast from Mark Lu and then never did a startup with them. It's just like lying
A
around.
lot, a lot
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Because it sounds nice. You can do a startup and yeah, off you
Yeah.
go.
Then you're like, oh, I can do it anytime. And anytime will never happen. But anytime, now you feel like you're a maker. And this is, I think this is the same as, I think it's way easier to understand that in brands, in clothing. Like many people are like, yeah, I will buy a Balenciaga. It's fucking 900 euro t-shirt. It's a t-shirt.
Hmm.
It doesn't cost to produce near than that.
No, no, no.
But you feel you're part of something when you have it. So you bought it. And this is dumb as fuck. If you look just at price, this is so dumb. It's kind of a scam as well. But it's so long in our mind that it's very fine. And I think on many businesses online, we have to accept and understood some people wants to pay for the wrong reason in a way, not a reasonable reason, but
That's
still
true.
want to pay. And I have people paying in Capgo, not because they use Capgo, but because this is a safety net for them in their mind. If at one point Apple fuck with them, they have me as a backup. So even for some kind company, they don't pay if never used an update for a year, but I am like an insurance for them. And it took me eternity to understand this is also something I should sell on my website. Because right now I was not selling it, I was like just saying, oh, you need live update, do that. But if you don't need live update, but you just want safety net, you can also use me and pay me. I'm very fine. Don't use my servers. It's amazing.
Is it a lifetime subscription or is it?
No, it's monthly.
It's a
monthly
monthly.
or yearly.
So they stay on your monthly subscription and they never use the product. It's fine for you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I have like 20% of them like that. And because I never advertised for it. So now, since I understood that, like not long ago, like 6 months ago, I'm like more making things on the website to try to make it understand this is also like a safety net cap go for you and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But I'm still very bad to market it, but I think I will have more and more people doing that.
And the other side is that I think we as developer, we usually think like, how hard was it to create this?
Yeah.
But that's not of any interest of any buyer, because like for my product, what would be their alternative? Their alternative would be to go through these like 1,000 long spreadsheets and then go one by one. And that would take them days. And then $87 is much cheaper than spending days. So I think it's that I also needed to learn that, because first it was the product was $29, and I thought that's what enough. I feel. Yeah. That's what I feel is okay for this product. But then I just raised the price, and never saw conversion rating decrease. I don't know. I can try to double the price. Maybe I can do that and see if people would still buy it.
I mean, for me, if I have to learn backlink on my own and search myself on free things, it will take me 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days of my time is like €800 each day. So, like, you can raise the price. I'm still very buying it.
Exactly.
Especially when you target like software engineer, like there are very expensive people. So every minute counts, and if they have the right mindset, then you can make them save times. And that's exactly what fucking Mark is selling. He's not selling good code. He's selling like you're gonna win time because everything is pre-made for you. It's not perfectly made. It's made to go fast to the point.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's what works. And everyone who have complained about, oh, Mark is scamming people or stuff like that, is just, I know it's people that never been in the game enough to understand like pricing and like how do you sell to people and what people expect to sell. Because being a buyer is different than being a person who sell. Like it's different side of psychology, and you have to understand it, like to do it enough to understand like you were very dumb thinking as a buyer to sell things, because it doesn't work like that.
I think it's something which happens in you from when you are a developer to when you become a marketer and really sell stuff. And then you need to just approach things differently. And all the critique I heard about Mark or other successful makers is coming from this developer mindset. It's nothing original. It's like, where's the big idea behind this? Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter. This is the market. And this usually you just see that the people didn't get it. Yeah. Try to market your own product, try to sell your first product, and then iterate so long until you're successful, and then you get it. You cannot explain otherwise. It's just not possible.
Yeah, definitely. It's like do it enough, and at one point you will say, "Oh, I'm sorry, shouldn't have said that."
I think all these Hacker News discussions are exactly this. You read like, of course, I think you've seen like people like indie makers who posted on Hacker News, and they always get roasted because like, it's not like groundbreaking code or so.
Yeah, and this is not the point. And I think one thing we are saying is like anyone can be indie maker entrepreneur. So that means you don't need to be a great software engineer. And in fact, the most great software engineer are very bad indie makers, entrepreneurs, because they're too much engineer in their mind. So they focus on engineer problem instead of users' problems. And that doesn't make them like making good product. And you can see that like many businesses like plausible, like simple analytics, they were having some clients, but it was still the first founders were really kind of engineer a lot. And then when the marketing people enter in the game, then you start to have more like things that make sense for users, and then you have more users and you make a successful business. So you have two ways for me. Or you decided to be only an engineer and then you need a co-founder, which is not an
Yes.
engineer, to help you. But you will still have to learn about marketing anyway at one point, because otherwise you will keep fighting with this guy to tell him how much difficult things you have to do and prevent him to do his fucking job. So you will have to learn marketing anyway. So it's better to do it yourself at one point, experience it, see how much it's hard to do the other part of jobs, not only yours, you know, the support, the sales, marketing, like a customer success manager, everything like to help the user's journey. Try that job. If you enjoy some job, keep them. If there are some you don't enjoy, but you manage to do, so this is very important. You manage to do the job first.
Exactly.
Because if you just don't enjoy it and say, oh, shit, I need someone else, then you will go into trouble again to work with someone, don't understand his work, and like not accept what he's doing and fight with him and lose your...
Then judge the person, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
at my 9 to 5, my respect for marketing people was usually zero. Because
Oh, yes, me too.
exactly that.
I hated them for so long.
Like, yeah, what are they doing? It's not worth anything. And
Yes, it's useless. Like
yeah,
they're doing
exactly.
shit.
Yeah, it's just like they just spend some time on like social media and do some
Yeah.
Christmas posts, like la 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 la, yeah, and it doesn't change the needle. And then yeah, for me this was the biggest challenge was to learn marketing. I went on Twitter and asked what is marketing, and people were laughing at me because they thought I was
Yeah.
talking shit, and I meant it seriously. I didn't really understand what it was, and I think I still could not explain it. It's I think really hard to explain what it really is, but you need to try some different things
Yeah, definitely.
and
I,
learn.
I think one thing that helped me to realize like how hard this job is by, you know, when I start to have a kind of a success with Capgo started with kind of a tech solution only. So there was not much marketing unless talking on GitHub issue. So then I started to have users, and users complain about problems they have with the software. So as a good developer, a software engineer is like, okay, we'll fix problem by doing more features. And then you do the features.
Yes.
And then people continue complain. And you're like, what the fuck? So I did something, and I recommend that to do to everyone, is to put like a log snag or post hog, whatever, to measure how much people use features. So each time you do a new feature, you put the measurements. And then you realize, without your fucking marketing, your feature is never used by anyone. Even you put it in the middle of the screen, people are like, dismiss and do something else. It's insane how much effort you need to do to make people use the things they have asked for, even. So imagine the one they don't even ask. It's like, it's so hard. Right now, like I'm doing like a video to record, like I post the video on Discord, I send email in the onboarding to explain feature people ask the most, and even still there are people in Discord, don't look any questions and ask, how do we do that? It's explained on the website, on the documentation, by email, on video. It's like everywhere, and still people ask and don't find the fucking feature. And it's not because they are bad, it's just because like this is hard to do marketing and to explain people what to do, because people are dismissing everything. They're like, nope, just want this. Yeah, but I was explaining you just here how to do it. You have looked at the thing. And so yeah, marketing is super important even internally, you know, to have like a successful client, because you can bring people, but people have to stay because they feel the value of your product. And if you don't do internal marketing to keep these people and tell them this is evolving, you know, you were frustrating this because, for example, you measure bugs or crash or whatever, so you find things and you fix them. But if you don't tell people, we find you had this issue and we fix it for you, then people don't see any change for them.
No.
Or they even
Yeah.
forgot they had the bug, but they still keep in their mind the product is bad. And then after a few months, they find another solution or whatever, and they leave. And so this is super important to do marketing for inbound, but also inside to keep people. Because at
To
one
keep
point, when
the
you start
pen.
to having people, the problem is to keep. Yeah, that's a hard job. Like really, like marketing what you're doing and communicate what you're doing. When I was CTO, I saw that as well. You know, like I'm trying to show what my team was doing to the rest of the people, and no one was understanding. The same as you think marketing do shit, people were thinking my teams were doing shit and not what they was asking for. Even like marketing people were asking, so they were in the
Yes.
company asking for a feature. We do the feature, and they don't fucking see it. You present it, and they don't, they don't watch or whatever. They are doing something else, email while you're presenting, and then 2 weeks later they say, "Hey, we still have this problem. Can we have the feature for it?" And you're like, "It's done already, guys. It's done."
And I told you it was done, huh?
Yeah, and I told you it was done, and you're working in this company. So imagine
And
people
you didn't
not,
market it.
yeah,
Until when did you were in a 9 to 5? Did you?
until 3 years and a half ago.
Okay, good. Also, just recently, because
Yeah.
so most of the indie makers, they just demonize 9 to 5. They say it's evil, or it's just like so draining of your energy or whatever. And I would say I would have a different take on this, because I learned so much stuff in the 9 to 5, working with different departments, doing this
Yeah.
internal marketing, as you just said, being in front of the camera and just explaining things to people, being in contact with different roles.
Even explaining to your manager why, like, how you're good at your job is marketing, and this is important. If you want to be
Yeah,
to have a good raise every year, you have to
exactly.
market
Yeah,
yourself.
of course, exactly. And you need to explain why it took now longer, or why it's better to do this other thing. And yeah, this.
You make me think about a memory from my school. I was at Epitech, which is a computer science school. So already in school, I started to try to do businesses. So I've tried for 10 years, but failed miserably for 7.
Okay.
And so I start to do business, he failed, and I go in school, I have to go abroad, I choose Finland, I go to Finland, and I have to have a project for 2 years now in the school for the 4th and 5th year. And I am alone because all my teammates create a business and left the school. So I have like no project. And I am in this flat, share flat in Finland with a
Yes.
guy from my school. And he's like, "Yeah, we're doing this project for the 2 years. It's super cool. It's like, take a picture of receipt and it scan everything and put it in, it remember it for you. The name was e-receipt of the app. And so we're doing that, blah, 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 blah. And I talked with him, and I was good at market myself, to sell myself what I'm doing. So I explained like what I was doing, the project, the things didn't work.
Mhm.
And the guy was like, "Oh, look amazing. Like you have like very experience in startup and creating a project." I had like 6 months, but for him it was amazing because he was a student. And he told me something. It's like, "I think you could join your group for the work group." And I was like, "Yeah, but you kind of are 8 people already. Like what I'm going to do in this?" And he told me something very honest. I love this guy since then, and he made me realize something huge. He say, "We're so bad at telling like the school like what we're doing, and we got always bad grade. When you talk to me, look like you're selling so good what you're doing. So I think you can join us and sell to the school what we." I was like, "So I am in a coding school. I'm joining a coding project, and you ask me to
To do
just
marketing.
just do presentation
Exactly.
once every two weeks." He said, "Yes, and you can continue to work on the freelance you're doing," because I was doing freelance at the time. That's when I did the
Yes.
first mobile app. And I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay. So I went to the presentation and we doubled the grade. Like I got the best grade because they are individual grade, and everyone got a better. and they were like, "Oh, that's amazing! Thank you, thank you." And I say, "Guys, I just like just say properly what amazing things you're doing." It's like I didn't invent anything, and I just stopped to show like the like sometimes people are like, "Yeah, it takes time because it's very difficult and we struggle and blah blah blah." There are better way to say that than just to show like only weakness and you don't know what you're doing. Sometimes you know what you're doing and you know it takes time and this is fine. If you say it like that, this is way better marketing for yourself and what you're doing than to show just you're weak and you don't know what you're doing. Because it can be true, but in certain things you know what to do. And so in this project, I joined for 2 years. I never coded one line of code. We had super good grade and they were super happy. And I had such an imposter syndrome all along, telling them, "You sure you don't want I code something?" They said, no, keep going. I was like, what the fuck?
Were you aware of your talent to explain things?
I don't know. I think it came from a very funny thing. I grew up with my mom. My dad was not in my family, and etc. And my mom has a rule say you can ask anything, you can have anything you want, and everything is negotiable. You just need to explain me why and have a good presentation about why this is better than what I'm proposing.
It was your mom training you this. I see.
Yeah, and she definitely hate herself like telling me that because then everything was a negotiation all the time for her, and it was so long for her and so exhausting. But I had huge training about selling my shit. I want to do that. Didn't work out, but for many trainings afterward, I managed to have like good argument, understand like the perspective of the other person in front of me, and understand what I have to say to convince the other person. It's not lie.
Yes.
It's just like what word touching the person in front of you.
But were you aware of your talent when you
No, I realized
when you met the
that-
others? You probably didn't realize because you thought everyone has this, and maybe they had all the same parents, but you have it.
Yeah, I didn't. I think
and
Yeah, I think I realized that in school when I started to be in this computer science school, because sometimes I had very bad code and very bad project, but I managed to show it well. Then I got a good grade compared to someone who did better code, and then I realized
Exactly. Like, oh yeah, interesting. I can cut the corner a bit, maybe.
yeah, I can improve that. So
Because that's what happens usually in companies. That's why I think working the 9 to 5 has the benefits as well, because you get this kind of feedback, which is now not in the 9 to 5, but I was kind of in a student context. But in my 9 to 5, I do presentations. We have like every 2 weeks we have a presentation to the whole company. So you have like 150 people watching, and it's like it's a big show, right? You need to do well, and you have to 5 minutes. And then I kept improving my 5 minutes until I was standing out, and I didn't even understand that I did something special. I thought like it's just normal. And then people said like, the way you put the energy in your voice and you explain it, you made a show and so on. Oh, interesting. And then I thought maybe I'm good on video as well, because when I was young, I was this insecure guy, always standing in the corner. I would never do that, right? And then suddenly you get these kind of feedbacks, and I thought, I just do it out of necessity. It's not that something I think I would be good at. And then suddenly you give these positive remarks, and so, oh, maybe I can work on this, and it could be even my strength. And I think if you just work solo on yourself, and I don't think you have enough then exposure to get these kind of feedbacks.
Mm-hmm. I think lately I realized for a long time I was like kind of Peter level mindset. No one's calling me, no one can contact me. I contact people, otherwise you cannot contact me and stuff like that. And I realized I am very good because of this experience and stuff to sell my thing. And right now, one of the main things I want to grow in CapGo is big corporate client. And big corporate client, they love to talk to someone. They hate emails because they meetings is daily.
Calls. They want calls. Huh?
Calls.
Yes.
And right now I have such freedom that I can have few calls. Like otherwise I have zero call unless the podcast once a week.
Yeah.
So I can have like 2-3 calls a week. It's fine. And it will trade me to sell my software. Also see the feedback of people, what I can improve, because doing sales call, super good to understand what you can do in your product, what are the blockers of people. Like, for example, one of the main blockers of big corporate is security. You know, they want to be sure you're not like sending a bad update to the users because they have like a reputation, you know, and stuff like that. And I understood that because yesterday I did 2 calls with them and most of the talk was about security. And it was super nice because also, you know, when people sell, they kind of feel they need to lie or to overpresent themselves. This is totally not what you should do. Lie doesn't help you, and at one point it got discovered. So
Of course not. Yeah.
don't do that. What you have to do is to be confident on your weakness. It's like, okay, you have a weakness. The guy told me about security, like, do you have SOC 2 and stuff like that? I say, no, we don't have that. We don't have that because no client ever asked for that yet. If you want that, we can work on that together. There are no problem. We will pass the test. It will work. It's just like, let's work on it together, you know? And that's different than to show like, oh, no, I don't know, and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, I'm confident we can do it. We will do it for you if you need that. If you want to work with us, we're going to work together for that. And he was like, oh, that's amazing. I was like, and there are very things like that. For example, also, the guy was like, how many people are working in your team to be sure, like, if something happen, we're going to have your help.
Yeah.
I have me and an intern in Capgo. So it's like basically me. And I say, we're two, but we have things built in a way that make it secure for you. Like we are serverless, so there are no server to handle in the night when I'm sleeping because there are no server. So the only thing is the database, and database is oversized. So even tomorrow you have millions of users, it will stand. Currently, it doesn't handle. It doesn't need much things. And also, we are full open source. So if tomorrow you're not satisfied, you can opt out and do it yourself. Like there are no lock-in. So we are not like trying to lock you in and to fuck you up. You are totally free. You can live whatever you want, and you will not lose anything. The guy was like, "Oh wow, okay," because like the also like if you say, "Yeah, we are tiny, blah blah blah," you're not confident. I am confident. I can handle that, and of course, shit can happen. I happened before, but we can handle that. And you have to show like you trust what you're doing. Even you're not sure, you have to be sure you're capable. It doesn't mean you're sure like everything will go right because this is a lie. It's impossible. But you can be sure you can survive through that. You know, there are like unless someone try to kill you and you're dead, you should be able to handle anything. So you can be confident doing that. You know, you not stay in your bed and say, "Oh no, I had a big client, he fucked my server." So and you do nothing. No, you will work for that. And so you just have to show that to people. You know, I will work for that, even if it's not working, even if we are not here yet. If we go together, I'm sure we can work for it, and it will work for you. And they really like love the call. So we'll see if I get like a 2 million users app client, but we'll see.
Oh wow,
yes,
that's quite something.
Yeah,
it's a big one. I think this kind of honest communication, this is really working. It's also what I learned on Twitter, that when I'm open about my weaknesses, like you're saying, okay, which just 2 people, or no other client asked about that. That's very honest, open communication, and they see you're not faking it, and you're also saying things which are probably not in their favor, and then you realize, oh, this works actually. It's actually even helping the sales in some way, and I think that's usually better than if you keeping things like and not really honest, and then I think your communication style. Yeah. It's not really like the body language is not open and the voice is not open.
Yeah. For me, is the point is to be friendly. You know, in front of you, you have a person, and we are emotional being. So selling your best, fake things doesn't work. What you have to be is to connect to this person. So I've been nice. I've witnessed like this person. You know, I'm not like showing off. I'm like a super strong and perfect person. But I show like I am confident I can handle things, I can do things with them, and we can work together on my weakness. And there are no problem talking about that. I'm not hiding them. I'm not going to show you surprise like, oh, everything is broken in the background. It's like, I know they are visible. I'm telling with you about that. And the guy was like, oh, that's very nice conversation with you. Like, I felt like really like open and we can talk. So he
Yeah,
asked
they
very,
do. They usually don't have that. They just have these sales guys, right?
yeah,
And that's why we developers always hate these sales guys. You can always tell this is just not true. And then if there's someone like you coming and showing up, like, oh wow, that's refreshing. It's actually he's an honest guy.
yeah, at the
And
beginning he was
I
very on the
think
defensive, like, because you're gonna be attacked with sales and stuff. And when I show like I'm not in defense and I'm not attacking anything, I'm just very
yeah,
open and
they
talk
were
with him.
surprised, huh? They
Yeah,
were
it
maybe
changed
surprised. Yeah,
totally the
yeah,
way he
it
was talking with
changed.
me.
Yeah. It does. I think like indie hackers, they could use this more. This kind of strength, like I'm building alone, showing their face, their language, their family, like being like inviting people to their personal lives, like kind of these kind of things. This could be so much more the marketing strategy of indie makers, and so often see like then product demos, and then you would see just the screen and an AI voice, and I think no,
Yeah.
no. Why do you do that? Why don't you just show your face? And I've at the beginning I thought like I'm not like my hair is falling out a bit. There's even gray hair, and I'm not like this super Mark Lou kind of good looking guy, right? And it looks embarrassing, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't agree. It's the more you put yourself out there and be vulnerable, the better it sells, I think.
Yeah, I think the close you get to people, because you're not going to compete to be as an indie maker, you're not going to compete to companies where like thousands of people, super structure and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to compete, you're gonna be a loser for sure. Because like
Yes.
and most of things will be lied, and at one point, you will see it. Like you say, hey, we are 10 in the team, but everything one point doesn't work.
No.
So bet on your weakness to become a strength, because you're a tiny team. This is also well dedicated support, when they talk to someone, they talk to the CEO. Like, I started to
Yeah.
use Bento for email. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the email I received from Bento, and I found Jesse's fucking genius in marketing, was saying, could you talk to the CEO of MailChimp? No, if you answer this email, you're gonna talk to me, the CEO of Bento. So if you have any
Yes.
question, feel free to ask. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm stealing that. I answered to him. I answered to him, man, you're a
Genius.
fucking genius. I'm
Genius.
stealing that.
Yeah.
Uh, so this is super nice. Like, when people ask, oh, can I have your, like a salesperson or sales department, say, no, it's only me. I'm handling sales calls directly to me. I am the
Yes.
maker. You're going to have the person which is the most competent in the business. And people are like, oh, wow. They feel important as well. You take time, you have other shit to do, and you take time to talk with them. Like both of them yesterday, they were like, thank you a lot for your, no, because I'm not hiding. I also say to the guy, he's in Australia, and the best time for him was 11 at my time. So at the end of the call, we were talking a bit chill, and I say, yeah, no problem. And he say, yeah, he say, thank you because you have allowed more time slot, because at the beginning, the only meeting was available next week. And I say, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I changed the time slot to extend the hours later, because right now it's 11 at my place and the time slot was not open. And I totally forgot, like there are people in Australia that need to talk with me. So I'm sorry,
Exactly.
I opened more time slot and I like to work late anyway. So it's pretty good. And the guy was like, oh, you're talking with me at 11. Okay. It's like, it's give
Yeah.
value for
This
them. It's
is.
like, okay.
Yeah. You don't get that with big companies, huh?
Definitely not. It's like, oh,
No.
sorry, we open 9 to 5. Yeah,
Exactly.
but
Nine
I'm
to
in
five.
Australia.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a blocker, but yeah. So I think we can go to my finishing kind of question. We've talking about marketing ourselves, so I think this is the right time for you to give me your
Yes.
biggest success as
Yes.
indie maker for short.
My biggest success is indie makers for short. I need to pump myself up to actually do this. Huh?
Yes. Jump, jump,
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah. You know that and that's what I learned also for our calls with the 150 people at work. Usually you put yourself to the edge of the seat, and then you lean forward, and then you put all your energy in your voice, and then you usually it works best if you make like a clown of yourself. You think like you are now totally like over the top, and it's a parody, and then you watch yourself, and I thought, I could have put even more energy in it. I think it's still on the low level. It's always like that.
That's also why when I'm doing podcast, I'm standing, because I have way more energy.
Maybe
than
that
when
would
I'm
have been good.
sitting.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. Yeah, no, okay.
Okay, I ask you again the question, and then you
Yes.
answer?
Yes.
Okay, what's your biggest success as
When I launched, I made $3,500 in one day. That was my success, and I was so happy about that. And I'm still getting rushes when I think about this.
Amazing. And that was
Was selling my SEO Kickstarter. It's just a link to a Notion page. And I thought maybe people would not buy it, but they were buying it. I was raising the price from 29 in the morning, 49 at lunchtime, and in the evening it was at 70. I still keep selling it. I thought it would just be a side business, but it never did go down. So I switched to my side business now, and I continue selling this for a while.
Amazing. That's super cool. I love this story. I love this kind of story. Okay, and now on the other side, what has been your biggest struggle as in?
So when I launched, I was out of energy, and I thought I will just launch it and it will fail. And I secretly hoped it will fail because I was out of energy. But then it succeeded, and then I thought, now I need to ride the success wave, because it would be just stupid just to let go of this money. So I did product hunt launch and everything until my energy dropped to zero, and I could just not do anything. And that was my issue from March until June. March, April, May, June. Like for 4 months, I was
Kind of
so low
burnout.
energy. It was not a burnout. I could still work on my 9 to 5. But as a site builder, I just could not
indie
bring
maker
up
burnout.
exactly. Yeah. And so what I started doing is I started going to the gym 2 months ago, and this changed everything. It's insane because you hear all these people doing that and say, yeah, you need to do that as well. And I thought, look, I'm just not the gym kind of guy, and it will not work for you. And then I go there for 1 month, and the energy is insanely much higher than without that. You go to gym as
Level
well?
should have affiliate links.
Yeah. Do you go to the gym as well? You also look like you do some sports.
What I do is I do CrossFit every Saturday morning, and then I go to climbing, to bouldering. So
Wow.
only Saturday I do sport, because the rest of the time I'm super focused. And
Yes.
I was not a sport person all in my life, so I've decided to have at least one a week, and I will try to improve it. I have a gym not far, but still kind of hate it, like I have to get into the.
For me, it's one of the problems I had is to get out of the thoughts. I still were like caught in my thought, like I should do something for my side business, but I can't. And what should I do? And then it's kind of these turning thoughts. And the gym for me was the 1 hour I can get rid of everything. Because it takes so much force to work on this machine, and you need to do the movements right, and it's kind of out of your comfort zone. I get rid of my thoughts for 1 hour. That's for me quite a feature.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, because I had the reverse problem. I never did sport in my life. Like, even when I was a child, my mom didn't push me to do much sport because she didn't do sport. And so each time I do sport, I have kind of this thought of like, I should be working, I should do something more productive. And this is keep in my mind all the time, and like kind of abandon all the time sport, because I have this mindset coming over and over. Or if I run, my whole mind is like, why do you run? This is painful. Why are you doing that? And this is over and over. And this is very like one of the things that make me struggle the most to keep going to sport, because each time I remember, I will have this bad feeling. And lately, what I'm trying is I've read a lot about microdosing. And so in Amsterdam, you can buy mushrooms for microdosing. And I've tried to start microdosing before sport. And that's changed totally my mindset. I'm like, oh, wow, it's so nice outside doing sport. I feel so great, the fresh air and stuff like that. Where before I was hating myself for an hour,
Yes.
now I
Yeah.
kind of enjoy it and change this mindset around that. And I can see now I'm not like feeling like why I'm going to to CrossFit, you know. I feel like,
Yes.
oh, that's cool to go. I will struggle,
Yeah.
but that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes this is very deep in you, the hate of the thing. Like for example, on marketing and stuff, you really have to rethink differently and sometimes get help, like from things. I hope the microdosing at one point will get like fully legal in Europe, because right now it's legal for to buy it in online and receive it. It's fully legal, but they cannot sell directly in your country in Europe. But it's fully legal to sell it in Europe. So you can use that, read about it if you're interested. There are many documents about that, many university. The most known one is in London. It's John Hopkins University, who have a big study about microdosing, mushroom and LSD, and they ask people to follow a plan or to do that, and with
Yes.
intention. It's not like to do for fun. It's really to heal yourself and heal your
Yes.
mind and your body. So if you're interested into that, look for yourself. I'm not telling you to do it, but there are other ways to do things in this world, and I
Yes.
think they will become
Yeah.
legal and prescribed by doctor at one point, for sure.
I had it. I shared about going to the gym, of course, on Twitter.
Yeah.
These posts usually work pretty well. And then there were also people who were suggesting these kind of things with mushrooms and so on. And I was generally, my first reaction is oh no, that's kind of drugs, and I will not do that. I take this kind of special things, but it's then the person also pointed me towards some of these documents and these studies, and probably I would need to warm up a bit more to actually go into that. But I see people who really benefit from it, and they change quite their life.
Yeah. And the one I bought, so the website is Microdosing Pro, I think, and they sell like, you know, stuff made for, it's not like for fun, it's really for a purpose. They told you how much you can take as dose,
Yes.
and they are tiny dose pre-made, it's super safe and legit, made by the laboratory. They have the chance here in Netherlands, they can sell that. It's not legal everywhere in Europe, but for example, in US now it's become to be legal and give by doctors and stuff like that. So the thing is, we have to differentiate which is legal because of the mindset of the society and which is helpful or not. You know, like taking cocaine, I don't believe even in microdosing that will help anyone. But there are some other things. This seems more and more studies are showing like maybe it's not so bad, and you got like all cancelled together because drugs, these kind of things were used for fun. And yeah, of course, in a fun perspective, it could have bring many troubles. But in fact, you know, they discover like for psilocybin and LSD, there are much people healing from being sick in their mind than people getting sick in their mind because they took it, which is very fun. For so long, I thought like everyone tell you it's cool, like, oh, you can get crazy if you take LSD. In fact, you can heal people being crazy taking LSD, which is very, very, very interesting. And like, not really like the first things you will think about it. So there are more studies about that, and that's a very interesting topic. There are one very good Netflix documentary about that. I think the name is Magic Fungi, which is amazing, talking about mushrooms in general and psilocybin, because many mushrooms are very good even without psilocybin. In Microdosing Pro, most of the websites sell not psilocybin active mushrooms. Like for example, lion mane is also a mushroom helping a lot for focus and stuff, and there are nothing illegal in it around, anywhere in the world. This mushrooms is legal to sell everywhere, and this is like good. It's superfood. So yeah, that's for me. I discovered that I think 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like
Oh,
very
already,
very
yeah.
surprised. Yeah, I think the microdosing I do it for, but yeah, I
And
am.
what did it do to your mind? Is it just like generally you have like a more positive attitude, or you have more energy?
Depending which one. The lion mane is more open, more energy, definitely, and more stable over the day. Over the day. Also heal my gut. I have gut problem, like digestion problem
Yes.
with gluten, and when I take them, it's way better. I could eat gluten and bread a bit, and I don't feel shit. If I don't take it
Wow.
for a while, then I feel shit again if I take gluten, which is
Okay.
very interesting. And for the microdosing with psilocybin, it definitely opened myself up. I see more. You don't, microdosing. The thing is not like what you see when people take LSD or mushroom in Amsterdam. It's not like you will have no hallucination. You will have no visible effect.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's so much lower than the minimum dose to have a visual effect, than you will never get it, even if you are very sensitive. And even in the box, in the protocol, they explain you how to start. So you start with a quarter of a microdose, which is like barely nothing, and then you try more to see if you tolerate to that, because it's same as a doliprane. You don't try to take big chunk directly of medicine. You have to try by tiny. So basically, yeah, that make me more open. I have less bad thoughts about myself, like how much I'm bad in sport, how much this kind. It feels so far right now to telling about that, but it was my mind. Each time I was thinking
Yeah.
about sport, I'm like, not a sport person. I'm bad at sport, stuff like that. I was really defining myself badly. So that cannot
Exactly.
help you to do anything. If you tell yourself you shit, you will not do great. And when I take the mushrooms, microdosing, it helped me to stop thinking like that, like naturally. And so I could, because I know to don't do that every day, but when I'm doing sport, it's like every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes in my mind, like, my body is suffering because I don't do sport enough. I don't do sport. So then my whole mind is about like, I'm stupid. I'm not sport person. I shouldn't do that. I'm struggling. Like, why I'm doing that? I should work. I should not lose my time. It will not have effects. So many things like that. And now with the mushrooms, I have this thought maybe once or twice, but most of the time I'm like, oh, it's good to move. I like the fresh air. I have more positive attitude. I'm seeing more beauty. That's the only real difference, uh, because most of it you don't even realize the difference. It's the purpose of microdosing. You do like the protocol I'm following right now is 3 days of microdosing, and then the rest of the week without, and you do that 3 days, 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
And I was doing that for 1 or 2 months, which has helped me a lot. And then now I'm doing just before sport. So, and yeah, that has helped me a lot. I really, really enjoyed that, and that has changed my mindset around that topic. I think also in January, and I was really struggling mentally, about many things, because like I was not making enough money. I was struggling to pay my loan for the house and stuff.
Okay.
And I was really, really, really having bad mindset. And that's when I started to do the 4 day off. And that changed so much. Like I was depressed. I was depressed. I live in a beautiful place. I have beautiful friends and everything. And I felt everything was shit. And I started doing that, and everything went toward the right direction. Business started growing again. Problems stopped to arrive, and I also solved problems. So that has definitely helped me a lot in many aspects. Not
Yeah. I think this is a big topic for entrepreneurs. These kind of mind games, or the have a stable psychology. I think it's easier if you just go to a 9 to 5. You don't have
Oh
these big
yes,
risks, and you don't have kind of these money risks and so on. And it's a roller coaster, right? And keeping a stable psychology in this roller coaster is hard. And then you see, like, go on Twitter, you see the other people really successful, think, oh no, I should have done differently, I'm bad or whatever. And then you question yourself, and then uh
imagine that. And now imagine like my partner, my life partner, she is right now starting a new business. She's doing a magazine
wow.
for digital nomads. And she see
Okay.
me every day, like having a business start working well. So it's more even than just Twitter. Like every day she felt a failure when we talk. I'm like, oh, I got a new client. And she say, I didn't got any, and stuff
Oh
like that. It's
no.
so hard for her. Like she struggled a lot, but I told her, I keep telling her, this is the journey, this is normal. It's the desert at the beginning. You learning, but yeah, This is hard, guys. Keep it easy for yourself. Be surrounded well, take fresh air, and enjoy the journey because
Exactly.
it's long.
It's a long journey for sure.
Yes, yes, it is. It is. Do you have something you will have wish someone told you before?
This is a tough question because I usually like to learn things on my own
Okay.
and
The-
maybe develop my own mindset. I think generally being relaxed. I'm not sure somebody could have told me that. I'm not now we back to these mind game things, right? I have all the time in the world because I'm a site builder and being like kind to myself, and maybe I am not progressing for a few weeks and just be like positive about myself. It's like I'm doing good. I'm doing a break. It's all good, and not beating myself up so much. I think that would have helped. It's not a concrete thing, but it's more like an attitude.
And
Usually, I don't mind failing. It's okay. I like failing. Not so
yeah,
much than
that's connect to
succeeding,
my
but still.
next. That's connect to my next question. For me,
Yeah.
one of my favorite quote is, "Or I learn, or I succeed, or I learn." You know, there are no fail. And I really love to repeat myself. That helped me keep going. You know, when I take a big slap in the face, I was like, "Okay, it's a learning this time." It's not. So, what's yours? Do you have
A favorite quote, but it's not about entrepreneurship. It's more about life philosophy.
okay? It's a great one anyway.
It's Schopenhauer, so it's very philosophical.
Go for it.
Person is free to do what he wills, but he's not free to will what he wills.
Wow, that's deep. I'm not
That's
even
very
sure I
deep.
understand. So he's free to do what he
if-
wills, but he's not free to will what he will.
wills.
Ah,
It's the
okay.
freedom of mind. So that's kind of my when I was young, I went to like I thought about what profession I should take.
Mhm.
And then I went to a Berater in German, like the person who can guide you towards
Ah,
the right
yes, yes.
profession, right? And then the person said I should study philosophy, and then I thought, oh, maybe not. Then I did computer science, a little bit.
Almost same.
But philosophy is something which is I like reading and I like thinking about. I'm a Christian, also like the Christian philosophy I like very much. And the freedom of the will is always something I thought about a lot. And it's also apparent if you see like you can predict how people will react, right? So they are not really free with their will because they're like built a certain way. They have they kind of kind of certain experiences. So in a situation they can decide, but it's just like they already decided beforehand somehow because it's kind of how they are, and
Yeah.
they cannot will what they will. They can decide what they will, but their will is kind of it makes you relax a bit more, right? If someone actually is angry at you, or you think, okay, that's it. I'm not too angry at the person as well. It just relaxes things in life a little bit.
Yeah, that's
It got very philosophical. Sorry for that, Martin. Maybe not what you intended for the end of the
it's very good.
podcast.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, like I invite people to be themselves. I don't like give me any sales pitch, you know, of yourself or trying to show like a, you know, I've listened so many bad podcasts of startup where the guy is super all the same. It's copy paste because it's just like one philosophy they apply, and they're not even like that in reality. I've met many startup people. You see them like in a podcast or whatever, and you see them in reality. They're totally different people. It's just because they want to fit like a role model. And for me, that's what I love in indie makers. Like we're all individual, we are all different. You know, like you like philosophy, you're Christian, you have kids, you're like old compared to most of indie makers. This makes you special, and that's why I like to talk with you more than anyone else. Like which is like all copy paste. So thanks for that. Talking about that, who I should invite after you?
People who come to my mind.
Okay, I'm taking notes.
First, did you interview Dmitro Krasun?
No.
The screenshot one guy.
Ah, we love that.
Yes,
I don't know how to write his name,
he
but
has we can direct message afterwards, and I can give you his Twitter handle. He's
No, it's Dimitrio. Yeah, I think he's in the list.
he's quite known, and he has very original thoughts. He's very introspective, and I think he's a good guest, a very interesting guest. And the other one, you know him for sure because his Twitter following is small. Is Alex Sotsuki. He's also a Swiss indie maker. He has the same age as me, maybe like 5 years younger, and he is doing that. That's why it reminded me when you told your story. He does QR codes. Yeah, he's a QR code app, but
Yeah.
an in-app QR code solution. So you can.
Oh.
It's a bit similar to what you offer. You have his library in your mobile app, so to say.
Okay.
And he looked at the market and saw there's only high price solutions there, and saw an opportunity for small price. He stopped his agency and jumped into that, and I find his story very interesting, and he doesn't get much exposure, so that would be I think it's an undiscovered indie maker, so to say. Yeah.
Okay, I'm up for that, definitely. That's fun because I have talked with Dimitrio, but I don't see where is the recording. Did I miss it or?
Yeah, I mean,
I will ask
he
him.
has way more than 10,000 followers. Everyone knows him, right?
Okay, send me both, and I will
I'll send you
invite
both.
them. Yes.
I will.
Okay. Thanks a lot. And so, last question for you: where do we send people who wants to know more?
Twitter.
On Twitter. So your
On
Twitter,
Twitter.
Philipp Keller, will be in the description, in the link list. Also, all the product of Philipp will be in the description. If you enjoy the podcast and you need backlinks, please buy his Notion page. Yeah, that's a nice way to thank him. And also, if you cannot afford it or you are not really like interested into backlinks, you can just say thank you on Twitter to me or him. It's super nice. Also, any comments, any thoughts, talk to each other. It's always cool to have indie makers because often we post publicly, but we never talk in private. And I think that should be more the case. When we build on our own, sometimes we do shit for long. While talking with someone for 2 minutes, we will do way better.
My DMs are open. You can
Yes.
direct message me on Twitter about your questions about backlinks. You don't even need to buy my product. I still try to help out. In my limited time, I'm having a 9 to 5, but I try to really help people as much as I can, which is as much as fun as doing money, right? Almost as much. Yeah.
If you have liked this podcast episode, please subscribe. You can also find it on the website Solos Ventures. We are also present in every podcast platform. If you don't want to watch the video, I forgot to do that, to say that often, but yeah, it's present everywhere. You can listen on Spotify, on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever, and on YouTube as well with the video. So I hope you enjoy and see you for the next time next week.